Hey there, and I was asked recently to do a video. Actually, I was asked for a while back, and I was asking recently to make a video on the animated shows that I watched as a kid, the box sets that I have on that. Now, when I did this, I wanted to make it extremely personal and something that really meant something to me. So I didn't just go out and grab all the animation sets I had or everything that came out in the era that I was from, or just sets that I had that I thought were pretty impressive. What I wanted to do was actually look into my childhood, and it's taken me a few days to do this, and really think about the shows and the animated shows that I watched growing up that really influenced me. So what you're going to see here is really a slice into the animation. There are some great sets here, by the way, and I'll be letting you know all about them as I go through. But you're going to see really what really reflected and what really stood out to me on animation. It's going to be a lot of shows that you're going to think are going to be there that probably aren't going to be. And it doesn't mean that I don't like them or that I don't have them. And I may mention some of them along the way as I'm doing the other ones. But these are just the shows that really defined and in many different ways, different aspects of my life. Animation is something that that's very, very important in my life. Same as horror is, and the same that is the way, when it comes to media, when it comes to that animation, horror, and the classic film noir stuff like that. So there are so many different cheesy movies, but anybody that's watched my channel for a long time knows how much animation means to both me and my better half. And I hope to do another video down the road where she, okay, even if she's off screen, can talk about some of the shows that really influenced her, because even though there's only like a few years difference in our age, and we watched a lot of the same shows growing up, even being in different parts of the world, she also has her own unique take on it and a very different type of stuff that she watched as well. I'll be right back after this, and we'll get into the animation. But find me. Animation. When you think about it, it's one of the very first contacts you have most of the time as a child. So it's your gateway drug into TV, into film, into in many cases classical music, and many other different ideas, and even for some cases comic books and books. And for me, it really was. I grew up in an era that is missed out on by a lot of kids right now. And I grew up in an era that was called pretty much the Saturday morning era. There was no 24-hour cartoon network that you'd go to watch all these programs. That came later on. And although it came in the United States first, so they got it earlier than I did. So a lot of you guys that are even younger than me probably grew up on a lot of the shows that I grew up on, thanks to things like Boomerang and all that type of stuff. For me, I had to wait till Saturday morning. Every year, the comic books at the time would do kind of 2-page spreads of the new cartoons that were coming out. The TV Guide would have a 2-part TV preview of all the new shows that were coming out, and they'd take one specific issue and they'd highlight the Saturday shows, Saturday morning shows. When I was a kid, what I would do is I'd actually look at the comic book and get excited about the new programs, and I'd see the new cartoon shows in the TV Guide, and I would actually color in the numbers on the shows that I wanted to watch. And you couldn't watch them all. There was only a few channels back then. It wasn't like the thousands of channels or the internet like we have now. Yeah, it's the dinosaur age. Basically, you had to make a decision. There's ABC, CBS, and NBC, and you had to decide which one you wanted to watch. There was always going to be a trade-off. Before VCRs, there wasn't okay, I'll watch this and take this. And even if you did, there's 3 channels showing 3 different competing cartoon programmings. So best case scenario, you're going to get to see 2 of them, and there's always going to be one that you're going to miss out on. Many of the shows that I want collected and would love to have shown here, I don't have. They're not in my collection, and in some cases, I don't think they're available on DVD to buy. At least not in my area. SpiderMan and his amazing friends, with Iceman and Firestar, is one that isn't around here. Saturday Supercade was a Saturday morning block of like different cartoons based on video games. You usually have like a group, usually Menudo actually, doing like short music videos in the middle of it, and shows like that are out there but are kind of expensive to find that I really haven't had been able to get my hands on, like Pac-Man and Rubik and these amazing cube shows like that I really dug when I was young, but I don't have in my collection as of yet. You won't see a lot of like the action-y oriented shows. I did watch a lot of animation. There's certain ones I did watch, so you're going to see a couple, but things that are going to be noticeably missing that are animation shows that I really love are things like He-Man, She-Ra, G.I. Joe, Transformers. I love all those shows, and all those shows did play a big part in a lot of the stuff that I would love later on. But some of them I found later on, and other ones just didn't hit me in the same way that these shows did. So without further ado, let's get into them. And let's start with the pretty much the very first show that I probably watched in animation. And it's a pretty easy one to figure out. They did 6 volumes of this. There's Blu-ray sets, which I would kill for. And apparently, in the United States right now, Big Lots has some $5 sets that my better half almost literally cried when she saw Cinema Sickness showing them on one of his recent hunting videos. She wanted them so bad. Stuff like the Essential Bugs Bunny and the mouse. There's a mouse one too, a 2-disc mouse set that she really wanted. But it's selling there for $5. We never wanted to be in the United States more than we did while watching that video. So it's easy enough to say to know what I'm going to show right now, and that is the Looney Tunes. When I grew up, it was pretty much like the Bugs Bunny and like Roadrunner Hour and stuff like that. I can remember the song when they'd come out in the tux and they'd be like they'd be singing. It'd be kind of like followed by these amazing cartoons. Now I lived in an era before they took Speedy Gonzales off the air for a while because some overly PC white people said that Speedy Gonzales was a bad influence and was a bad like Mexican stereotype. The Mexican community was actually responsible for getting Speedy Gonzales back on the air because he was a cultural icon. So yeah, it just goes to show you don't know and you can't speak for another race or religion. It's not your place. And Tipper Gore did that a lot back in the 80s. She got like a lot of shows taken off the air to the point where cartoons, pretty much Saturday morning cartoons, were killed off. There were like 6 of these volumes that came out in the Golden Collection, and I made it my job at the time to make sure that I got all 6 volumes of this here. And these are amazing. There are some great there's some great Blu-ray volumes that called the Platinum Looney Tunes Platinum Collection, which I do want to get. They got some great stuff on them as well. And some of it, like, obviously overlaps. Of course, there's some new stuff on the Platinum ones. But there's some great stuff on there. So I'm going to take a second to actually go over these right here before I go on. So you guys can kind of get a feel of how in-depth these sets are. And I do recommend them. I would watch these a lot when I was really young. It was my first experience with classical music, as it was with many people. And at least the classical music, as far as I can remember. Probably my first experience with opera as well. And it was a very cultured cartoon, and there was just some great stuff there. These cartoons got like picked on for being like too violent or there were like racial overtones at the time, but it was the time that they came in, and it's really silly for a lot of it. But they're silly, fun cartoons, and no kid should grow up without watching the Looney Tunes. They really should. I mean, there's a new Looney Tunes show on right now, the Wabbit one. But really, look at the originals. Nothing beats these here. These are some of the greatest cartoons that were ever made. The first set here, we have some great stuff. And the features are amazing. A greeting from Chuck Jones, who's a great animator. Commentaries, and a ton of commentaries on there, by the way, as well. Featurettes, documentaries, on the town's termite terrace, which is what they called the place where they drew the cartoons at. Excerpts from the original primetime The Bugs Bunny Show. I used to watch that. And basically Rabbit's live and Rascally Rabbit's live action movies and documentary tributes. There's Walt cartoons, and the way they would do these, so they would like, right here it's all messed up. Look, would make these and they would theme them. So as you can see, disc 1 and disc 2, Best of Bugs Bunny and Best of Daffy and Porky. They were actually re-released with them. Disc 3 is called Looney Tunes AllStars. And if you look really close, you can see like a lot of these here have like commentaries and that on them. I'm not sure if you guys can see that. Hopefully you can. And disc 4 was more Looney Tunes AllStars. So great stuff in there, you know, Daffy Duck Hunt, stuff like that. Everybody has loved, you know, the duck hunt, the duck season, rabbit season type thing. And each one will go in depth with something else. Volume 2 here, you can see like the older original version of Bugs Bunny. There's 4 discs on here of 60 uncut shorts. We start off with a Bugs Bunny disc, followed by a Roadrunner disc, which is really, really hilarious. There's a Tweety and Sylvester and Friends one, and the 4th one is Looney Tunes All-Stars of Stage and Screen. So you get some of the Hollywood ones there as well. There's a ton of features on here as well. Bugs Bunny's Looney Tunes All-Star 50th Anniversary TV specials on here. A brand new cartoon, Daffy Duck for President. Just a bunch of featurettes on the makers of the stuff. Volume 3 here, another fantastic volume. We started again with Bugs Bunny Classics, followed by Hollywood Characters, which is actually a really, really good one. With some great celebrity like impersonation stuff. We have All-Star Cartoon Party on here as well, and Porky and the Pigs. There's some great features on here. Just extremely cool stuff. I don't want to spend too much time going into these because I've got so many sets and stuff that I have to show you guys, but I do want to like quickly go over these right here. This is 4, and as you can see, we brought on Speedy Gonzales. He gets his own disc on here, which is really, really cool actually. And it's still, you know, Speedy knows my sister. Speedy knows. Everyone sees stuff. Again, more Bugs Bunny favorites. A dash of Tashlin. Tashlin was an animator. Speedy Gonzales in the Flash, and Kitty Corner. So again, there's a ton of stuff on here. As you can see, these streamlined sets at this point. But still, you can buy these in like in even more streamlined sets with as the whole pack together. For a while, I used to buy it at Costco for fairly cheap. I'm actually very proud that I actually got the original sets of these here. This is volume 5. Here as well, there's a ton of features on here. By the way, I'm not going through all the features, the documentary commentaries are on each of these, but there is a ton. We got about Clampett Disk here, 2 fun-filled fairy tales, Bugs Bunny and Daffy Duck, and it ends it off with disc 4 with the early days. And there's some great stuff on there as well, including Bugs Bunny's Looney Christmas Tales and some amazing stuff like that. I'm not going to go through all of these like that, but these here really deserve special attention. Volume 6 has the war ones on there. And I was very excited to get that one. We got some rarities from Frizz Freeling and the World of Lou Schlesinger, so some pretty amazing stuff there. This one here did a little bit different. You're going to see some kind of cool stuff. We got Looney Tunes All-Stars. We got Patriotic Pals, which is the war ones. Disc 3 is Bosco, Buddy, and Merry Melody, some of the really early stuff. So, and disc 4 here is some most requested assortments of nuts and one-shots. So basically, you got a bunch of stuff here. They weren't sure about the 6 volume selling as well, because you'd have a lot of black and white stuff on there. A lot of the kind of the war stuff that wasn't as well known, or probably not as beloved, that they didn't think would sell as well. And I guess they were kind of right, because that was the 6th and last volume that they did do. But before they went over to Platinum, and Platinum only went for 3 volumes. What other shows were in my childhood that I really loved? Well, the next one I wanted to talk about, but I almost didn't, and not because I don't like the show or because I didn't think it belonged, but because gets me slightly weepy sometimes. But I'm gonna try not to get that here. This one was a show that would come on in the mornings with a another show, kind of a silly, kind of a Vincent Price show, which his name has escaped me right now, but I should remember. But I used to watch this one here, Rocket Robin Hood, early in the mornings. My grandmother on my dad's side is has long since passed away, and I grew up. Well, I got to know her very well, and at the time I got to see her much more than I got to see my parents, really, because she was my parents were in like different areas, and she was I would always go up and visit her, and every time I did, I'd usually go in the morning. My grandparents would on my mom's side, who I lived with actually, would drop me off, and in the mornings they have the shows that would be on, and the main one that I'd watch was Rocket Robin Hood, and there's another one kind of a Wizard of Oz type one, where I'm a short 5-minute animation on it. But I really remember this one. I've only been able to ever find, because I've tried to find the animation stuff. A lot of this stuff I try to find like actually in person. There's something about that. But I found this one in Ottawa, and it took me back. It's kind of a futuristic Robin Hood, of course, Rocket Robin Hood. The animation isn't the greatest. Some of the animation would be reused in the SpiderMan series, actually, for some of the trippier episodes. If you've seen the original SpiderMan series, a lot of the animation would be used in Rocket Robin Hood for some of the trippier scenes where Spider-Man's like going to a different like planet, or he hits his head and he ends up in some kind of like dream type place, which brings me to my next one, and probably one of the most influential cartoons that I ever watched, and that is the '67 Spider-Man collection. This is the original Spider-Man series. Paul Soles was the voice of Spider-Man. That meant a lot to me at the time, because this is pretty much a Canadian voice cast right here. And growing up, it was nice to see I got a lot of like American imports and stuff like that, but Ralph actually used a lot of Canadian talent. And Paul Soles was a an actor that I knew from different Canadian programs, like what's the one I'm calling it? But the Law, where basically he breaks it's done in like silent ones, and he breaks the law, and you have to guess what the law that he broke was, and they do like these kind of like Charlie Chaplin-esque shorts. I know that the BBC had an actual program like that too. I'm not sure which one of them came first, but I know when I was a kid I used to watch the Canadian version of that, the Paul Soles one. Paul Soles also shows up as the diner owner in the second Incredible Hulk movie, so you might want to watch out for him in that as well. And just such a great cast, and this was such a cool set. Unfortunately, because of like rights issues and stuff like that, this set only came out once, and it's no longer available. So if you ever find this set somewhere, snatch it up. It's definitely a rarity to get now. I think it was Disney. Yeah, Disney put this one out, but then the rights issues and were lost, and I think with Sony and all this type of stuff. So if you can find this one, it's really, really worth it. It really should be picked up. Next up is one that didn't do my Saturday mornings, but it definitely did some of my evenings, and it was the reason that I quit the Boy Scouts, and that is the Peanuts. I love these whole Charlie Brown specials. A Charlie Brown Christmas is one of my favorites. That's on here, and it also has It's a Great Pumpkin Charlie Brown, which I also really loved. One of the first like animated movies that I ever saw in theater that I remember seeing, and actually that stood out to me, was Race for Your Life, Charlie Brown. I really, really loved that movie when I was a kid, and I must have sat in the theater but like 7 or 8 times. I was playing at this like a smaller theater, but this one here has some great stuff. I would love to have the other editions. They tend to be a bit on the more expensive side around here, but I have one of them, so I'm proud of it. That anyway. Next up is one that I watched and I got to rediscover again with my daughter. And if you know who Mammy Two Shoes is, then you're going to know what this is even before I show it. And it is a great show. And it is Tom and Jerry. I love Tom and Jerry. This is one of my all-time favorite cartoons. ever. This is just an amazing show. These were, of course, originally were theatrical shorts, but they were shown on TV in the, the Tom and Jerry show. That there were so many other Tom and Jerry shows that came out. I think there's a new one on there right now, actually. But I really love the stuff. I wish I had more. There's like a gold collection Blu-ray, which I haven't been able to get my hands on, but sooner or later. Probably the most serious one you're going to see in my collection here is Robotech. Yeah, I love this series. It played not on Saturdays, not on the nights. It played in the afternoons. It's usually about 4:30. So basically, when I come home from school, I get to see this. This is where I first got to see a cartoon character that I like die on screen. I was shocked to see that. I love this one here. I love the original Robotech series. The whole Macross early series with Rick Hunter. Better than the other ones, but I grew to love the other ones later. But I remember being a kid, like, where's Rick? I wanted to see Rick back in this. Not realizing that these shows were actually just programs that were put together. You didn't actually really tie in together with each other, not really. This is a great set. I do strongly and highly recommend this set to anybody that likes this type of animation. You have all three series that get thrown in. This is not just like a disc. This is a set right here. And that fourth one, there's only 3 series. So what did they do with the fourth one? This fourth one here is completely and utterly all extras. 4 DVDs of extras. And there are some amazing things on here. It's something that you just have to look at and see and just really breathe in, because it's really amazing stuff. Next up is I was a huge Tex Avery fan. I was a huge fan of this character here. And I had to include this one because I remember watching this, and I can't remember what show that I used to watch this on, but maybe the next show I'm talking about afterwards. But Droopy, I dig Droopy. Droopy was so fun. We had just such great characters in here, and Tex Avery just did such an amazing job. We got the wolf on here, of course. Red Hot Riding Hood, you see in the back of that as well. There's a character that really should have done more with. But I loved Droopy. I love these cartoons. I think they're amazing. And I remember watching them when I was younger and just being blown away. This show has a lot of really big memories for me. And I wish I'd picked up the second set because it was around. But the place that had it was Canadian Tire here. And they stopped selling DVDs a while back in my area. But I was glad to grab up the first set anyway. That's the Woody Woodpecker and Friends Classic Cartoon Collection. Woody Woodpecker and Chili Willy, just some characters that I really, really loved. Andy Panda is on here, of course. It's just some different, really cool ones. And I have so many good memories, going back and looking at this. Oswald the Lucky Rabbit, or before, Disney got him back there. So stuff's on here as well. Just really, really great stuff. It makes me want to watch all this stuff. Woody Woodpecker was just one of those. I remember Walter Lantz, the guy that animated him, would come on kind of like Disney would in the on the Walt Disney show, and he would kind of he'd talk. The next one was these were originally theatrical shorts, but most of the cartoons I watched as a kid were shown on television, within a half-hour format, and that would be Popeye the Sailor. So they put out some really good sets. Now these sets are rivals right to the. You remember when I showed you those Looney Tunes Golden Collections? These are like that. These are amazing. We got documentaries on here, commentaries on here, early cartoons from the vault. See, I had no idea that these were theatrical shorts or anything when I was a kid. All I thought was that they were just some amazing cartoons. And I like Popeye. And, they showed a lot of the black and white stuff back then. And you never really blinked. You never thought, oh, it's black and white or anything like that. You just really enjoyed the cartoons that were there. And there were some great cartoons. Next up is, I only have 4 volumes of it. I'm missing the very first 2. Well, I'll show you the ones I got. And it was a show that I loved. It used to come on in the afternoons. It would come on Saturdays sometimes. It used to come on Sundays sometimes. That is the Flintstones. I adore the Flintstones. I've got seasons 3, 4, 5, and 6. Haven't been able to get season 1 and 2. They usually tend to be more expensive in my area, and online I find them. Even online I find them a lot of times they tend to be more expensive, especially when you got to take like shipping and where it comes from. Season 4, 5th season, season 6. That's when you're getting into like the really get into that alien character, the Great Kazoo and all that. But you know, they had like shows we do later on. They had to do like a bit of stunt casting. You have like Bewitched characters on here, and they had their own versions of certain characters. So next up is one of the very first shows that I ever saw, and that is the Huckleberry Hound show. I remember being very, very young, very, very young, and running in the house to watch the Huckleberry Hound show, to see Huckleberry Hound, Mr. Jinx, and Yogi Bear and Boo Boo, and I loved it. I loved Hanna-Barbera. Hanna-Barbera is, for most people, that's the defining animation studio. That's what you remember. That's one of the ones that that just grabs you. Another one that I don't have, basically because, to be completely honest, I was kind of just too lazy to get set out. But ScoobyDoo, Where Are You? Was one of the ones I watched when I was a kid. And if you've seen my channel, you know that I have the actual plastic ScoobyDoo, Where Are You set. The one that has the real Mystery Machine, not the cheesy looking cardboard one, but actually has the plastic one with the wheels that move and stuff. I have 2 of those. I actually have 2 of those because I found one and I was like, I can't believe I found it. And then we come across it again and we're like, just in case, we're gonna have 2 of those because it's such a great show. We really, really love Scooby-Doo. But another Scooby-Doo program that I grew up on, one that wasn't known as much by a lot of people, but I really liked it. And Scooby-Doo and Dynamite show. I love Dynamite and the Blue Falcon. Really like the Scooby-Doo stuff. It was just because they did 2 shows. There was a Scooby-Doo Dynamite show, and I think the Scooby-Doo Dynamite Hour as well. I think. Yes, Scooby-Doo Dynamite Hour. Now, I geeked out when this thing got released. I really, really did. You gotta understand, this was one of my childhood, my childhood memories. Same way that my better half Hin talks about Thunder and Thundercats. She doesn't have Thunder yet. She really wants Thunder, actually. We've got to get it, but unfortunately it's been too expensive at this point. There's a lot of these. That's the thing. Animation can be very expensive to collect, and you got to try and get it when you can. Right now, I'm saving up for a trip, so I'm missing out on like 3 platinum sets that are actually very cheap right now at Amazon.ca. But I can't because I got bills to pay, and I got to make sure that I get that we are ready for the trip. Last but not least at all is the superhero show from my day. Not the Justice League, not the Teen Titans. No, Super Friends. And this is the one I wanted to show off because this is the one with Wendy and Marvin. And of course Wonder Dog. And that's the one that I really remember. I remember the Wonder Twins one, but I really liked Wendy and Marvin. I kind of liked their characters, and I was kind of sad when they were taken out, and I didn't like what they did with them when they brought them back to the comic books. I didn't like how they made one of them spoiler, but just go wiki. It's not good what they did with Wendy and Marvin. But I love the Super Friends. This is just one I could watch over and over again. It took us a long time. We actually went out and collected every season of the Super Friends. There was an animation sale on sometime, I think it was about last year, the year before, and it was like, that's it. We're gonna get every last single season that we didn't have, And we did that. We actually went out and we said, okay, we're dedicating ourselves. We're going to start for like about a few weeks, but we're going to have all the Super Friends collection, and we did that. And there's a great channel, by the way, by the name of Retro Blasting that did a retrospective on Super Friends and how to collect them. And that was something that was imperative for us and that we looked to when we were actually collecting the Super Friends. So I got to give them a shout out for that. Retro Blasting does a lot of like animation and like toys and stuff like that. But this Super Friends guide that the guy collecting Super Friends was one amazing one that I got to give credit to. So there we go. Those are some of the animated shows that really like guided my childhood. If I could have put anything else in there, things I don't have, like the Smurfs probably would have been in there. Wasn't one of my, I got used to it and I really liked it. But I was kind of upset with the Smurfs at one point because I felt like the Smurfs hour-and-a-half long programming, the 2-hour programming, was taking away from some other shows that could come out at the time. So I wanted more cartoons. But as I grew up, I love the Smurfs. I loved the way it was done a lot. I remember watching Elf cartoon when I was in high school, and actually speaking and writing a girl that I liked a lot. We would write back and forth these like 17, 20-page letters, pen pals, things. We'd met in real life, but we kind of clicked, and we used to write over each other. So one day, she wrote me like 12 pages, just talking about what was going on in her life, and she was watching an Elf episode. She was like describing the episode. It's something that stood out there. But it's just one of those different things. Animation is one of my great loves, and something that I truly feel like I still don't have enough of, and I do have a great animation collection that I'm very proud of. Over the next little while, hopefully I'll be able to find other things along the way. I'm hoping that maybe I can come into the SpiderMan and His Amazing Friends, maybe over in England when I'm over there, because I know that they put it out there, but I'm not sure if it's available anymore. I'll scour the charity shops as well there when I get there, so hopefully that all still goes through. So there we go. That's some of my favorite animation programs, and I hope you guys really enjoyed that, because it took me a while to do this, because it had been requested earlier, and I wanted to make sure that this one here meant something. And all these shows meant something extremely important to me. There are some amazing sets there. Everybody owes it to themselves to have the Looney Tunes collections in their library. It's something that you have to own. I mean, you just have to. There's no excuse. You gotta get those Looney Tunes sets. Have some Hanna-Barbera in your collection. Strongly recommend the Tex Avery Droopy. I was very excited when I got this, and I actually kind of want to watch this right now. But I feel bad watching this with my better half. Was also a huge Tex Avery Droopy fan. But I will show you one thing. Red Hotrodding, it was a Tex Avery character that never got used enough. I was always remembered. And it's kind of like the sexy version of Red Riding Hood. And then the Droopy set on the inside, there she is. Just like a pinup model, Red Hot Riding Hood. And what better way to end this than a classic character there being shown to you. So for me right now, my voice is going. I got to work tomorrow. It's going to be Friday. I hope you guys have a great Friday and have a great weekend. My daughter's coming over tomorrow. And right now it's time for tea. Thank you. Hi there, everybody, and I want to thank you again if you stay for the after credits sequence. Sometimes I try to make the after credits parts, the parts before the credit part, kind of longer, just to see if anybody's actually going to stay for it. This animation one took a lot of work, so I hope you guys like, share, subscribe. that type of thing. But overall, I hope that you guys see something in there that you like or that reminds you of your childhood, some show that resonated with you as well. There are so many good programs that I could have put in there. I went over like different ones. Like I really loved the Transformers. I love GI Joe, but why didn't I put them in there? I'm not quite sure. I just wanted to have things that were extremely tightly personal to me and like meant things like as I went along. Um, Kind of the way that Thundar is the ultimate show that Hinmon's. Uh, these here are some of the ultimate shows that we both like grew up loving, and that certain ones really stood out. I really do strongly recommend the Looney Tunes collections. I want the platinum one so bad. That's going to be definitely on my wish list to get. I've been reading up on them, especially the first two volumes. They just have some incredible stuff on them. Get the Blu-ray editions. Don't get the DVD editions because basically they drop a disc and some features on on the DVDs. And the reason for that basically was that at the time that they did them, they were going towards the Blu-ray, and the DVDs were only done later on. And because of the compression issue, it would just get the cartoons on there, and you'd miss it on the features. Yes, you could have put more discs on there, but it would got more expensive, and either way, people would have been complaining. So I always recommend, like, as you can see, most of the stuff here is all that there is in DVD format, and just the way that I perfectly want it. But for the Looney Tunes collection, if you haven't got the gold ones, which I do recommend, grab those, but also grab the platinum ones as well. There's stuff on there that isn't included on there, including some featurettes, some documentaries, some very cool stuff. I also recommend one that I don't have and that I'm looking for a while, called there's like the Spotlight collections. If you can't get the Looney Tunes stuff, if that's a little more pricier for you, and I know sometimes price is an issue, the Spotlight collections, I love to own them as well myself, because it's just they have some really cool like box art and animation on there. I like to own the Looney Tunes in all its different formats. Uh, you could should have saw the look on my better half's face when we were watching the Cinema Sickness video, and she just saw him go there. There's Essential Bugs Bunny for $5. Essential Daffy Duck for $5. There's the mouse one for $5. Two sets. I thought she was going to cry. We never wanted to. I know that we would have been out if there would have been a Big Lots in our area, and we turned on that video. That would have been like somewhere that's here. We would have been, coat and boots on and out the door, looking, because it was just way too cool. But there we go. That's my animation video for you guys. Hope you guys enjoyed it. I really enjoyed making it. I want to thank you for thanks for the suggestion for making that video. Please keep up the suggestions on videos and collection videos that you'd like me to do and make, and I'll get into like a lot of different stuff. I have gone over stuff, whether there's my Avengers set, my the animation stuff that I did right now, my Scream Factor, my arrows that I've done many times. I'd like to show you guys different aspects of it. I'm going to be doing the Midnight Movies collections, my MGM set, and I'll be doing it to my Blue Underground and Anchor Bay stuff as well. So there's a lot of stuff hopefully you guys are going to look forward to that I'm going to have coming up. So just keep watching. I've been spacing it these videos a bit more now, but I'm trying to get more done. So let me know if you're liking this, if you're liking this space, if you'd like to see me make more videos. I'm probably going to be making some more videos actually fairly soon. And right now it's time for me to put back all this animation except for what I'm going to watch. And I'm not sure if it's going to be Looney Tunes or Rocket Robin, but it's going to mean something very special. Thanks for watching, guys. Thanks for staying. For me right now, it's time for animation, and it's time for tea.